to mention the aspect of gender mainstreaming perspectives, and of course the specific reports from my experience, yes, there are indeed quite a number of indigenous organizations, or at least civil society organizations, that are working at the grassroots levels to ensure climate change adaptation and resilient development really take place at the grassroots level. And of course, one of the institutions that I would want to refer you to is the Institute of Environment and Water Management, which sits within the East African Wildlife Society premises. They've done quite a considerable amount of work at the grassroots level in terms of water harvesting, in terms of capturing gender perspectives and stories, and profiling the differentiated gender impacts of the various phases of climate change. And it provides a very good opportunity for you to also learn from them. The other example I want to mention, of course, are the various capacity building initiatives that the organization has been doing in terms of building capacity for gender mainstreaming by the county governments. They have been training Kajiado County, Nakuru County, Nyandarua County, among other counties, and ensuring that the climate change policies and actions developed within the grassroots level, or at the county level, and even at the national level, indeed capture the aspirations of the Kenya Constitution and Vision 2030, more importantly, the gender principle. There are quite a number of efforts that can actually be taken by the civil society organizations, government agencies, and even private development partners. One of the things that need to be taken care of in a bid to ensure that gender considerations and perspectives are captured and inform decision making, including planning on matters regarding climate change, is to create platforms for communities, especially women, to voice out their concerns, to voice out their challenges relating to climate change. And it is important for us to start having these discussions, disaggregated discussions, or gender differentiated discussions, where we can actually have the boys having or being engaged in a different platform from the girls. Equally important, and engaging the women as well as the men separately, and capturing their perspectives, capturing their viewpoints, capturing their knowledge, and ensuring their knowledge and experiences indeed inform planning when it comes to matters relating to climate change. So that is the first step. The other aspect would be to, other than creating those platforms, is to tap on even the available opportunities, like the women parliamentarians. There is actually a structure in parliament that specifically tackles and deals with issues with women. So that structure, the Kenya Women Parliamentarians, KWOPA, would be also a very good opportunity to influence the various policies that originate from parliament, because that also provides a window of opportunity for influencing the entire policy discourse, especially ensuring that women's experiences and perspectives on matters relating to climate change are indeed captured. And of course, not just their experiences, but even their challenges, because the challenges facing women, the challenges facing girls are not similar to those that are facing boys and men in the climate change arena. So those are two bold steps that we can look at. The other step that we can actually look at is to start looking at assessing the broader aspect of gender, and coming down to look at the grassroots level implications of climate change when it comes to food security, when it comes to vulnerable ecosystems, when it comes to the losses that we incur as a country, as a community, the losses that women incur. When you talk about, for example, the water sector, we know that majority of the burden bearers, when we have polluted waters, or when we lose our rivers, or when the rivers become degraded, are the women, because they bear the greatest brand when it comes to water provisioning, especially at the household level. So it's important that we start looking at how do we ensure that communities become resilient even when we face various challenges brought about by climate change. The most important and one of the toughest would be to look at the aspect of the elderly persons. The Republic of Kenya, or the government of Kenya, is now looking at issues of cash transfer as a safety net to help reduce vulnerability. When you look at the broader and holistic sustainable development, you'll go beyond just issuing cash transfers. It is a positive move, but it is important to look at the aspects, the broader aspects of natural resource resilience, because much of the livelihoods of the very communities of this particular country actually is vested on sustainable natural resource management. So immediately we start thinking of ensuring that our natural resources are well managed and conserved for posterity. We will be on the right path to achieve sustainable development and reduce vulnerability brought by the vagaries of climate change. So we can actually develop specific programs and initiatives that do not just achieve one SDG target, but achieve a myriad of other targets. And so we'll be working on what we call resource efficiency, which is one of the biggest tenets of sustainable development. Food security is one of the biggest impediments to achievement of very many sustainable development goals, and I think that's why the SDG team decided to craft the first SDG on extreme hunger. Yeah, so food security will become very, very key and very strategic for civil society actors to implement initiatives that would actually ensure and enhance food security at the household level. And there are quite many prongs to this. We can look at food security at the farm level. We can also even look at food security in terms of building and creating awareness for reducing waste. Another aspect I would actually look at is water. Water resources are diminishing at a very faster rate than we expected. And ensuring that we have communities that are resilient to the various challenges facing water would be very, very important. We can look at water from various approaches. One is to ensure that the water sources, the ecosystems that actually provide that water, are managed at the community, at the ecosystem, and even at the regional scale. That would be important. Managing our water resources to continue supplying water for various uses. After the supply of the water, or after the water conservation, then we can come to the actual water provisioning. How many households, for example, have access to clean and safe water? Very few. So when we target or we develop interventions that would actually look at secure water, or water service providers, so to speak, would be very, very important in this particular case. And again, looking at water from a waste point of view, and how much water do we need, and how do we ensure that we have efficient and effective water use at the household level would be very, very important, apart from the water clarity or water purity or water purification, which would also go a long way in not only just achieving the climate change goals, but also the health related goals. And so it also enhances retention and access to education systems because of reduced disease burdens, so to speak. Yes. If you do a quick rapid assessment at the community level, you'll find that communities indeed are aware. They're aware of the ramifications of climate change. They may not know the technical aspects of climate change, but they'll give you their community viewpoint. They'll give you, for example, when I was doing my quick assessment, they'll tell you, this river used to reach here, but now it has gone this way. Now we have to walk longer, even distance, to reach water source. They will tell you that we used to harvest, this much of grains, but now we cannot. So they can actually tell you that the climate change impacts are there in their life. The only thing that needs to go down, other than capturing their indigenous knowledge, is to look at how do we integrate the community's indigenous knowledge to inform our programs and policies. They have indigenous knowledge, quite rich indigenous knowledge, using insects, using frogs, using fish, using the behavior of various animals and even plants to actually detect and depict the changes in climate and the variabilities thereof. So information access is still important, basically to hasten and improve on their knowledge and awareness on matters climate change. But it is important also to capture their indigenous knowledge and ensure that that is used to inform planning and policy development within the climate change arena. It is also good for us to develop information packages that would also help them to prepare and adapt to the changing climatic regimes.